Słuchasz podcastu Angielski z Konradem. Nowe odcinki każdego tygodnia. Jeśli chcesz popracować nad płynnością, nabrać odwagi do konwersacji, skorygować często popełniane błędy bądź poznać skuteczne metody nauki, ta audycja jest dla Ciebie. Remember, you're not at school, so chill out, kick back and enjoy yourself. Let's begin. Witaj w kolejnym odcinku. Zanim zaczniemy, pozwól, że pokrótce przypomnę, jak możesz wykorzystać mój podcast. Jeżeli czujesz się pewnie ze swoim angielskim, wystarczy, że przesłuchasz audycji. Dla tych z Was, którzy potrzebują odrobiny pomocy, pamiętajcie o notatkach do odcinka. Zatrzymuj podcast, przejrzyj notatki, w razie potrzeby powtórz nagranie. Zapisz się do newslettera za pośrednictwem strony angielskiskonradem.pl, by otrzymać natychmiastowy dostęp do notatek z tego i wszystkich poprzednich odcinków. Dostaniesz również powiadomienia o nowych odcinkach. Jeżeli masz pytania, uwagi bądź sugestie, skontaktuj się ze mną za pośrednictwem adresu angielskiskonradem@gmail.com bądź za pośrednictwem fanpage'a Angielski z Konradem na Facebooku. Switching to English.
Greetings! Welcome to another episode of the podcast. I'm your humble host, Konrad. I hope you enjoy the show today. Let's begin with some vocabulary this time. Indeed. Indeed. W istocie. Suspect. Suspect. Podejrzany. Suspect. Suspect. Podejrzewać kogoś o coś. Remember about the difference in stress. Pamiętajcie o różnicy w akcencie. Suspect. Suspect is a noun. Somebody is a suspect. Suspect is a verb. You suspect somebody of something. Be mindful of. Be mindful of. Być świadomym czegoś. Preach. Preach. Prawić kazania. Slip up. Slip up. Potknięcie. Today I'd like to share my thoughts on a matter that discourages many people not only from speaking a language, but from using it altogether. Imagine for a minute that you have to leave your car for a few minutes on someone's private spot at the car park. It's an urgent emergency. You need to use the restroom and that's the only free spot. You come back only to find a note behind the windscreen wiper. It reads, "You're in my spot." Most people would just ignore the note, get into the car, and drive away into the sunset. Then there are very few people who would go out of their way to find the person who wrote the note and make them eat it because they misspelled your. I'm talking, of course, about the officers of spelling police, known in some corners of the earth as grammar Nazis. Everyone makes mistakes. Spelling, grammar, punctuation, you name it. You would be surprised how many grammar and spelling mistakes natives make. In fact, the error I mentioned before is the most common one among native speakers of English. I'm not talking about dimwits either. Even college professors have their occasional slip-ups. Today's article is all about those people who go out of their way to point out your mistakes and correct you at every turn, the members of spelling police. I was surprised to find an actual study on why spelling cops are quote-unquote losers. The link to the article is in your notes. The author begins by saying that she is mindful of what she posts on social media. That means she pays attention to her sentences, checks the spelling, grammar, and so on. However, we are only human. There's even a famous quote by English poet Alexander Pope, "To err is human." Making a mistake doesn't make you a moron. A member of spelling police, however, will make it his duty to point it out and make you feel like one. It's annoying. It's harmful. It isn't helpful in any way, though it may seem this way to a grammar cop. So how was the study carried out? 83 participants were presented with a text containing spelling and grammar mistakes of a varying degree. The researchers determined general character traits of individuals participating in the study, whether they were extroverts or introverts, agreeable or disagreeable, and so on. Then they asked them to give their take on the text, to score it in such categories as friendliness, perceived intelligence, and others. The results may shock you, or not. People who were described as introverts, people who were described as the less agreeable bunch, people who were described as conscientious, meaning you pay attention to the smallest details, scored the author significantly lower than the ones who were more open-minded. Long story short, disagreeable introverts are the ones who would scold you for making a mistake most often, and the ones the author calls losers. I wouldn't go as far as to call a spelling cop a loser. In most cases, their intention is not to show everybody how clever and educated they are, but to honestly help someone improve their speech or writing. However, the fact that they do it all the time can be a bit annoying. Back to the study. I would draw two conclusions here. The fact that you are making mistakes doesn't make you stupid. The other one is the fact that someone points out mistakes made by others doesn't make them smart. Remember that the most important thing about communication is getting your point across. If you are understood by others just fine, then spelling and grammar mistakes can easily be forgiven. You use the language efficiently, meaning your skills get the job done. That reminds me of something one of my philosophy teachers used to say. We should convey our ideas in simplest of words or not at all. That's also a good way to make sure you understand something, to attempt to put something in layman's terms. Of course, that doesn't grant you special permit to screw up on purpose, or worse, to get lazy and stop trying. First of all, learning proper spelling keeps the spelling police at bay. They won't bother you if you spell words correctly. Second, it shows that you have put some effort into honing your language skills. Last but not least, not learning from your mistakes is a wasted opportunity. And for all you spelling cops out there, here's the second part of the quote mentioned before. To forgive, divine. To err is human, to forgive, divine. So the next time you hear someone make a mistake, just bite your tongue. The next time you see a spelling mistake, close your eyes, think happy thoughts, and simply scroll away. If pointing out someone's spelling mistakes is the smartest thing you can do, well, some people may not find you very smart. I'll leave you with that thought. Thank you for listening. In case you had forgotten, here's the revision of vocabulary for this episode with some example sentences. You will hear each sentence twice. Additionally, you will find the translations of the sentences in your notes. Let's begin. Indeed. Indeed. W istocie. George won't miss the opportunity to point out your spelling. He is a spelling cop indeed. George won't miss the opportunity to point out your spelling. He is a spelling cop indeed. Suspect. Suspect. Podejrzewać kogoś o coś. I suspect Patrick is still smoking. He's constantly disappearing for a few minutes and smells like tobacco. I suspect Patrick is still smoking. He's constantly disappearing for a few minutes and smells like tobacco. Be mindful of. Be mindful of. Być świadom czegoś. If you're not mindful of what you say, you may hurt someone's feelings. If you're not mindful of what you say, you may hurt someone's feelings. Preach. Preach. Prawić kazania. The coach has always preached the importance of a good warm-up. The coach has always preached the importance of a good warm-up. Slip up. Slip up. Potknięcie. Boris considered declaring bankruptcy a minor slip-up on his way to becoming a millionaire. Boris considered declaring bankruptcy as a minor slip-up on his way to becoming a millionaire. Boris considered declaring bankruptcy a minor slip-up on his way to becoming a millionaire.
And that's the conclusion of today's podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening. I'll talk to you next time.